Good morning, guys. In the last session, we discussed about query params. So we have seen how to read the query parameters in the REST controller by using request param annotation. Next one. Today's session, we are going to talk about path params. Today's session, we are going to talk about the path params. Okay. Path parameters are also used to send the data in the URL to the controller. Path parameters are used to send data to server in URL. Query parameters also used to send the data to the server in the URL. Path parameters are also used to send the data to server in the URL. Path parameters, path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. So query parameters should present only at the end of the URL, whereas path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in URL, and they will be separated by slash. They will be separated by slash. Okay. Path parameters are used to send data to server in URL. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in the URL, and they will be separated by slash. Okay. Example www.ashokit.in slash course slash trainer. Here, course and trainer are called as path parameters. Note, in the above URL, course and trainer are path parameters. In the above URL, course and trainer are path parameters. Okay. Path parameters are used to send data to server in URL. Path parameters are used to send data to server in URL. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. Path parameters are used to send data to server in the URL. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in the URL, and they will be separated by slash. Okay. Now, in the given URL, course and trainer is available. Course is one path parameter and trainer is one path parameter. Good. Now supplying the values to those path parameters. Here, www.ashokit.in slash sbms slash ashok. Like this, we are going to supply path parameters values, path param values for above URL. Path parameter values for above URL. Path parameter values for above URL. Okay, so this is a URL which is representing a path parameter. To send the values to that path parameter, we are writing like this. Course is SBMS, trainer is the Ashok. Now, like this, we can send values to the server in the URL using path parameters. To read path parameters, we will use at path variable annotation. To read path parameters, we will use at path variable annotation. To read path parameters, we will use path variable annotation in REST in controller class. So we have which annotation? Path variable annotation, which is used to read the data. To read path parameters, we will use path variable annotation in controller class. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in the URL also. Good. Now, so let me develop one simple application where we can read the path parameters. Same application I am repurposing that, and I will make it as 11th application, Spring Boot Web MVC path params. Path params. Okay, good. Here, customer is available. Na? Customer is available. I want customer ID. When you want that customer ID, you need to represent that as customer ID. Okay, here we'll represent this as a path variable. We'll represent that as a path variable. Okay, path variable. We don't need all these things. Just to give you the clarity. How to read path variables. How to read the path variables. So in order to read the path variables, we have a annotation called @path variable. So whenever you are taking the path variable, you need to specify that in the URL also. You need to specify that in the URL. This is called URL segment. In the URL segment, we need to represent that path parameter that we are taking as a method parameter. We need to specify that in the URL, and we are going to take that as a method parameter. Very good. Excellent. Let us start our application now. Let us start our application. Run as boot app. Application got started. It is binded to /customer URL localhost colon 9090/customer /101. Send the request. Now, are we able to get the John value or not? How I am sending 101? Directly in the URL. Directly I am sending that in the URL. When you send that request directly in the when I send you that value directly in the URL, in the controller we are reading that value by using path variable. So to read the query parameter, we will use request param. To read the path parameters, we will use path variable. Okay, guys, here one small thing is, whatever the placeholder you are keeping, if the placeholder name, if your parameter name are same, then you no need to pass this key. Directly you can specify like this. Okay, if your method parameter name and if the placeholder names are same, then you don't need to specify that here. Directly you can specify path variable customer ID that is represented in the URL. For query parameters, we don't need to represent that in the URL. For query parameters, we don't need to represent that in the URL. But for path parameters, we need to represent that in the URL. For query parameters, we should not represent that in the URL, whereas it's mandatory that we have to represent that for the path parameter. Excellent. Now try this. Let me pass the ID as 1 or 2. Okay, we got the value as Steve, 101 and 102. Suppose here I'm giving it as a CID. Method parameter value is a customer ID. Method parameter name is a customer ID. Placeholder is a CID and it is a customer ID. Both are not matching. Both are not matching. Okay. Now observe what is going to happen. Enter. Is it working? No. Internal server error 500 is coming because customer ID URL template variable is not matching. Then what should you need to do is we need to pass that CID here. We need to pass that CID here. Path variable CID customer ID. Get mapping. CID is there and the CID I'm specifying. So whatever the value that is coming after the customer will be binded to our method parameter. Method parameter name, placeholder names are different. That's why we have to specify that here. That's why we have to specify that here. Now refresh. Now we are getting Steve. Now we are getting that as a Steve. So John, for 101 we are getting John, for 102 we are getting Steve. So like this we can read path parameters. Sir, can I have more than one path parameter? Yes, simple. You can have more than one path parameter also. Let me write it. Customer ID and customer name also you can take it. Anything, whatever. Suppose if you want to take one more thing, get a customer data. Okay, here you can specify name. One more path parameter that you need to represent here, string name. Customer ID and customer name that also you can specify here. So like this you can have more than one path parameter. Okay, more than one path parameter. Good. Leave it. And as I told you, path parameter can present anywhere in the URL. Customer ID / data. Here, customer is part of URL pattern, data is part of URL pattern, only CID is the path parameter. Customer is part of URL, data is part of URL, only CID is the path parameter. Now see how to access this method. Now see how to access this method. Good. Saved it. Right click. Run as boot app. Clear the console. If I send a request with only one or two, there is no mapping. It is not able to identify. /data. Now we are getting Steve. Okay. Here, 1 or 2 is the path parameter. Data is URL pattern. Customer is also URL pattern. It is just to prove that path parameter can present anywhere in the URL. It is just to prove that path parameter can present anywhere in the URL. Are you guys comfortable with this? Are you guys comfortable with this? Path parameter can present anywhere in the URL. Will you agree for this? Now, what is path parameter? Path parameters are used to send data to server in the URL. Path parameters can present anywhere in the URL. We can send multiple path parameters in URL and they will be separated by /. Okay. In the above URL, course and trainer are the path parameters. Path param values for the above URL is that SBMS and Ashok. To read path parameters, we will use path variable annotation in the controller class. So it depends on the requirement. If you want to send the data in the form of key value pair, you can go for query params. If you want to send the value directly in the URL, you can go for path parameters. Here also same limitations. Length limitation is available. Binary data we should not send. We cannot send. Sensitive data we should not send. Whatever the limitations we have for the query parameters, same limitations we have for the path parameters also. Same limitations we have for the path parameters also. Limitations with path parameters. Limitations with path parameters. Limitations with path parameters. Length limitation. Length limitation. 2048 characters only we can send. We can send. We cannot send binary data. We cannot send binary data. Data will be exposed to URL. Data will be exposed in the URL. Length limitation, 2048 characters only we can send. We cannot send binary data, and data will be exposed in the URL when we go for path parameters. What are the problems that we have in the query params and query params? The same thing we'll be having in the path parameters also. Right. Now, guys, in the modern REST APIs development, we will use mostly path parameters only. Query parameters again we have to keep the key in the URL and value, but path parameter directly we can keep the value in the path parameter. So multiple path parameters can be available in the URL and they will be separated by slash. Okay. Query parameters will be separated by and path parameters will be separated by slash. Okay, in the REST APIs, majority of the times we will use path parameters only. But please remember that when you are writing a path parameter, that should be specified in the URL pattern. But for query parameter, we don't specify that in the URL pattern. Path parameter segments should be there in the URL. Note that is the important thing that we should remember. Note path parameters should be represented in the URI template. Path parameters should be represented in URI. Why? Because they can be anywhere at the URL. At which location you are sending, how that API will understand. Query parameters means they have a clear idea. They will start with question mark. They will be in the form of key and value. They will be only at the end of the URL. But for the path parameters, we don't have such differentiation. Path parameter can present anywhere in the URL. Now, if I pass something like this, localhost colon 9090 slash course slash s01 slash data. If you look at the URL, how can you understand which one is the path parameter, which one is the URI? There is no difference. Everything is representing in the single line as a URL. That's why whenever you are writing the URI for the path parameter, you need to represent that in the URL pattern itself so that API can clearly understand in this URI what is the path parameter and what is the actual URI. Okay, that is URI template representation. That is the URI template representation should be there for the path parameter. That is not required for the query parameter. That is not required for the query parameter. That is not required for the query parameter. Guys, all of you comfortable with path parameters now? URL and URI. URI nothing but only this one. Okay. when I write like this, localhost colon 9090/course, this complete thing is called as URL, universal resource locator. In this /course, whatever that is, 101/data, this is URI. URI is only identifier. URL is a location plus identification. Location. So the complete absolute path is called as URL, where you can access that. URI is just a resource path. URI is just a resource path. URL is the complete location. In the RESTful services, we'll talk that. Guys, do you understand how to work with path parameters and query parameters now? Do you understand how to work with path parameters and query parameters? So these are the two ways. These are the two ways. These are the two ways that we can send the data. These are the two ways that we can send the data from UI to controller. So using path parameters and using query parameters. Another approach is there, request body, that we will discuss in the form based applications. So once if you are clear with these basic concepts of how to develop a web application by using Spring Boot, how to send the data from controller to UI and UI to controller. Now, I hope you people are clear with sending the data from controller to UI and UI to controller. Web application means we will send some controller, will receive some data from the client, and controller will give some data to the client. So if you know those two operations, then you are good. Sending data from controller to UI. Sending data from controller to UI. Next one, sending data from UI to controller. Sending data from controller to UI and sending data from UI to controller. Sending data from controller to UI and sending data from UI to controller. Here we are using model object. Data from controller to UI using model object. Okay, now here sending data from UI to controller. Now we discussed about two options. One is query param and another one is path param. One is query param, another one is the path param. Query parameters will be represented by using request param annotation. Path param will be represented by using path variable annotation. Request param and path variable. Okay. So this is what we are trying to understand from last 2 to 3 classes. Sending data from controller to UI. And UI to controller. Got it? Good. Guys, the next one, we need to develop form-based application. We need to develop a form-based application. Okay. So once we develop that form-based application, we are going to take the data from the form to our controller. So I will develop a small form by using JSP. When a user submit that form, then I will take that form data. Okay, good. Now, generally, people may get a doubt when this query param should be used, when this path param should be used. Okay, mostly in the web-based applications, people will use query params. In the REST applications, people will use path params. When we are developing the REST APIs, we are going to use path params. When we are using web applications, we are going to use query params and path parameters. Query parameters and path parameters. sending data from UI to controller, query param, and path param. When we are developing web-based applications, we will use query params. When we are developing REST applications, we are going to use path parameters. Okay, and to send the data from controller to UI, we are going to use that model object. Good. Now, if you have any questions, you can talk to me now. Ask your questions, guys. You can ask me your questions now.
Sir, from HTML also same like this query param and path param also, sir?
Yes, sir.
HTML page.
Right.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, form based on the form based దీంట్లో మనము ఏ అంటే సార్ యూజ్ చేసేది అదే రిక్వెస్ట్ బాడీనా?
Yeah, I will talk about it. I did not explain that. Nah, that is our next concept only. I will develop a form and I will show you how it is going to work.
What if the value itself has slash and ampersand in it?
Sorry?
If the value of the parameter variable itself has a slash in it.
Yes.
So how can we resolve?
How can we resolve
those scenarios when the value itself has a slash in it? Because the path variable in the path param slash.
No, sir. When you are having a path parameter which value contains slash, we should not use it. That, sir. We should not use that.
Okay.
That is a limitation.
Sir, in case of integer, if we are giving string, how the validation will be taken care in this type of
that customized validation you need to write, sir. That will not take care of that. It will consider everything as a string only. Whenever the data is submitting, it will consider everything as a string only.
Okay, but we are declaring as an integer for the method parameter.
Conversion will be taken care by the Spring. Property editors will be available. So whenever the data is transferring over a network, every value will come in the string format only. Okay. If you are taking that as an integer, conversion will be taken care by the Spring.
Sir, sometime in ID, my Java /src /main folder is automatically deleted. Hide. How to fix it?
Which one?
Java /main/src. Java /src/main folder is automatically deleted. Hide sometime.
We can't do anything that, sir. We need to recreate the project. We should not delete it.
But it is automatically deleted, sir.
Why will delete automatically? It is not deleting for me. Maybe you have deleted it by mistake.
Okay.
You can't get it.
Basic difference between query param and query param uses web and path is using RESTful. So both are web, if we see.
Yes. But generally in the web we will use path. Query. In the REST we will use path.
Hello,
Any
sir.
specific difference between?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, both query param and path param, they are exposing it to URL. Sir, how can you prevent them?
We can't do that. That is the behavior. So when you are sending when you are going for a GET request, you have the only option to send the data in the path param or query parameter, because GET request will not contain the request body. So that is the next concept. So when I develop a form, I will tell you that. Okay. Now just understand the concept. In the use cases, you will understand once I develop the form-based applications. Real-time use case, where to use what, you will understand in the next 2 sessions. Just now, I just explained you the concept. What is path param, what is query parameter, how to work with that. If you are comfortable with the concept, use case we will understand in the form-based application.
So sending data from controller to, can I mention a model and view also?
Yeah, you can using model object, we can send it. And one more is also the response body that I have not explained as of.
Response, yes.
Using model and view object, using response body,
Okay.
using @response body, here using
request body. Thank you, sir.
Sir, is there anything about like matrix parameter?
That is there in the JAX RS API, sir. In the Spring REST, that is not there.
Sir, request body, response body, nothing but raw data, right?
Raw data. Directly you will, without presentation logic, directly will send the raw data back to the client. Simple example, sir. Here, I want to get the customer email. Okay. Public string get customer email.
पैटर्न है क्योंकि घूमने का जाएगी
At the rate path variable integer CID. Okay. Now, if CID equal to 101, then return John dot okay. Else if CID equal to 102, return smith.k@gmail.com, or else return no data found. Here I am telling @get mapping / email / CID. Got it? Here, what is the return value I am giving? String. Whatever the return value I am giving. When I send a request to this first method, it will treat this as a logical view name. It will treat that as a logical view name. That is the default behavior of the Spring controller. When the controller method is returning a string, by default, dispatcher servlet will understand. Okay. Now, this by default, when the controller method is returning a string, dispatcher servlet will understand this is a logical view name. But here, am I returning a logical view name or I am not returning a logical view name?
Not returning.
Not returning, sir.
But dispatcher servlet will understand that it is a logical view name, or it cannot understand that.
It cannot.
By default, it will think that
Logical view name.
like the first method, how the first method is returning a logical view name as a string, second method also returning as a logical view name as a string. But actually, as a programmer, I know that first method return value is a logical view name. There is a JSP for that. But the second method is returning the actual value directly. So to inform that to the dispatcher servlet, I will represent it as a response body. Then dispatcher servlet will not use the view resolver to process this method. Okay. Whatever the value that method is giving, same value it will send back to the client directly. Raw data. When you want to send the raw data, we are going to use this response body annotation. Okay. Now, localhost colon 9090/email/101. Am I able to get that value directly in the browser?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is any presentation logic available for that, or there is no presentation logic available for that?
No presentation.
How dispatcher servlet understand that it is a data directly should be sent to the browser?
@response body.
Response body. Now, so you may ask a question, sir, where we need to use this? Where we need to use this? In a use case, can you give me?
Validations, just Ajax validation.
Excellent. For Ajax validations, we are going to use it. So if you want to create an account in the Gmail, suppose I want to create a new account in the Gmail, guys. When I select my mail ID, when I enter some mail ID, when I enter my mail ID, is going to say that mail already taken. Mail already taken. Is it reloading the complete page, or it is just sending the raw response back?
Just sending raw response back.
Whenever in the web application also, sometimes we need to load the presentation logic, and sometimes we need to load the raw response directly. So when you are going for raw response, you need to use response body annotation. You need to use response body. Okay. Now see here. I want to create one new account. Create one account for myself. Username. Okay, I need to choose one username. What I will do is Ashok IT School. What it is saying that?
It's already present, sir.
That username is already taken. Try another. So complete page is loaded, or I just got this error message.
Just got that message, sir.
I just got that message. So in that scenario, my method should return logical view name, or my method should return raw response like this.
Raw response.
So to return the raw response, what we need to specify?
At the rate response body.
If I don't specify at the rate response body, what is the behavior of the dispatcher servlet?
It will take it as a logical view name.
It will take as a logical view name. Okay. I want to inform to the dispatcher servlet, it is not a logical view name, it is a response. You directly send it to the browser. That's why I'm going to represent response body. So how many ways we can send the data from controller to UI? By using model object, by using
model and view,
by using response body. By using model object, we can send it. By using model and view object, we can send it. And by using response body, also we can send it.
So one doubt here. So response body, can we decide where to display, or we can't decide?
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
We can decide where to display the response body text,
No, you can't. I mean, you can decide, right? Whenever you are writing a presentation, you can keep a div and you can display your response. It's up to your design logic.
Sir, in sending data from UI to controller, you mentioned using response body. How does it work? From UI, where you can mention response?
From UI to controller, controller to UI.
UI to controller, request body you mentioned, right?
That is in the form-based application, I will tell you. Post request.
Okay.
When you go for post request, the data will go in the request body. That we will discuss in the next class.
What is the difference model object and model and view object?
Model and view directly will set the data and view name also. In the model, you will set only data.
Okay.
Sir, actually, I'm trying to set a Lambok dependency, but it is not taken automatically. I tried multiple times with different system also, but Lambok is not taking setter and getter automatically.
Sir, in the video, YouTube videos, I have explained how to set up that. There is a plugin that you need to install for IDE, then only it will work, sir.
Okay, sir. Which plugin?
That I explained in the video, sir. Please go through that Lombok video. In our channel, I have uploaded 5 videos for Lombok. Please visit them. Please watch them once.
And sir, what is the timing for Angular JS, which was running parallelly with this batch?
7 p.m. Na?
7 p.m. Yes, sir.
Details also sent to your mails.
Sir, that information is not available in this UI.
Which one?
Sir, Angular JS, I tried to find, but I didn't get.
It's running.
It's running, man. Already I have sent the details also. Today I will upload. Sir, even in the Facebook also, and the Telegram also, I have given the poster where the Angular 7 p.m. Zoom details are available. Okay. Open our Telegram group. You can see that.
Sir, I am facing the problem whenever I am passing this view name, it's showing in the browser. It's not converting in the JSP. I am adding.
Share your screen. Show me the problem.
Wait. Actually, I am logged out in the laptop.
Then you can show me tomorrow, madam.
Ashok,
Keep your laptop ready.
Ashok. Actually, I have a requirement where I can send a three inputs like ID, course, and status. Okay, so here ID is a mandatory, and the status can be the optional. So in that case, how we are gonna handle in
If you want to send such kind of data, you need to send it as a request body, sir. If you specify as a query parameter, path parameter, they are mandatory. So if you want to send such kind of optional data, then you need to go for request body. Tomorrow you will get the clarity on the request body.
Okay.
All right. Guys, please practice query params, path params, and response body before coming to tomorrow's session.
Sir,
Tomorrow
if
we'll
we
talk
want,
about request body.
sir, if we want to send a hyperlink in the path variable or somewhere else, can it be possible in Java to send the
Yes.
hyperlink?
Yeah, we can do that.
Is there anything for AWS?
Sir, DevOps AWS batch starting from Wednesday at 8 a.m. sir.
8 a.m. Okay.
I think you people cannot join for that.
Sir, one more question. This we are sending data from UI to backend, right? So we have to do some validation. Means
Sir, we'll do that. Once I develop a form, I will do that. Please give some time. Okay.
Sir,
Sir, I
could you
am
please
facing
give one
problem with
example
the
for hyperlink?
Yeah, I will show you.
Sir, I have one question. Actually, there are 4 to 5 table join is there. I have to fetch the data from 5 different table by join. And with the Spring Data JPA, how can I fetch it?
Difficult, sir. It is very difficult. When you have such kind of joins, better to use Spring JDBC or Spring ORM.
Okay, so I cannot try it custom query or anything like generally we write in
Difficult.
SQL.
You can try it, but generally people won't prefer that. The data JPA came into market for simple code operations only, not for complex queries.
Can we call store procedure?
Yes, native by using native query you can call it.
Sir, I am facing problem with the get method not responding.
Can you share your screen?
Okay, sir.
Sir, why don't you take a separate class for join, sir?
I will take it, sir. I will plan it. I will plan
Yes,
it. Last week I was busy with that opening function.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday and day before yesterday, I have been to my election and I am not feeling well now because of that journey.
Okay, sir.
So this week I will try to take that part.
Sir, one more question. In that in data JPA, there are few joins are there, right? So 1 to 1 minute to 1 to minute to 1 that we are taking in any session.
I will take it. I will take.
That's the association mapping.
Yeah.
Guys, first see here what's the problem that she is facing. Send me a request, madam. /book.
Sir, we can make key as optional also, no, sir. In whether it is query param, sir, request param.
Go to the controller class. Maximize it.
Double click on the book controller.
Scroll down.
Scroll over. There is no class level annotation. Class level.
No need.
I already mentioned @ controller.
Not needed. @controller will only work.
Go to the JSP.
Property file, application property file, from property file, suffix and prefix.
So open your suffix and prefix there. Application
I'm also
properties.
facing the same problem, but suffix and prefix is the problem.
She might be forgotten slash to add.
Just open the properties file.
Open properties file in the resource. Yes.
Yeah, views. Yes, just extend.
Here is using the port number 8088 and but he is calling another port in the browser.
No. That's correct.
Above
8088.
views,
Correct port only, sir.
book details. .jsp port. Prefix and suffix. Let's start class. Application got started.
What is the error actually?
Have you added embedded JSP? Embedded Jasper?
I think so. Just open the pom.xml. I think she might have added. I don't think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I added already.
correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Just remove
Please.
that version. Just remove that version. Actually, it is showing a warn. Actually, just remove.
No. Could you please add JSTL?
No,
No need to add JSTL, na? Why? Why you should?
Just change the port number to 9999. It will work.
Why?
Book detail
If it would be a problem of port number, then it will show you a server not found. Okay. Let's say
Can you go to the controller?
Only.
Controller, please.
Remove space. Remove space.
Hello, go to the controller, please. You opened already. Check the time. You opened. Controller.
Version number mentioned in pom.xml.
Hello, controller, please. Go to the controller.
Book controller.java.
Just save that properties file. Application.properties file you haven't shown. Yeah.
So what's the issue actually? What is the issue?
Now go to the Chrome and give request once again.
Hello.
Where is the web apps?
Book details same, not JSP file. Book details same or not? JSP page.
They are in the SRC. Main
web app.
Web app. Views.
Book
Okay.
details.
.xml से वर्जन पे रिमूव कर दो फर्स्ट. So give the URL now. So go on browser, give the URL.
And declare at the request mapping annotation at the class level.
Yes.
Then it will map.
Hey, it's okay, no problem.
It is not available to identify the class.
It's okay, no problem. Just go to your browser and give request.
It's already cut.
Give the request.
No. First declare at the request mapping annotation at class level.
Bro, that's not a problem, man.
Anyone, could you please add JSTL tag?
The pom.xml.
You first of all remove book and give test there. Is it working first? Check it.
No, there is no logical name for test. I mean, view.
90,
There is no view.
90. What you have given there? Port number?
9090, I think.
No, it's not.
Ah, 9090.
Open your console and check it first. Open your console.
8088.
9090.
It was.
And one thing, could you please add JSTL tag in the pom.xml? It is going to be resolved.
Why?
JSTL is not required.
JSTL is not required, na?
One thing, could you please
Exception
add
I
that one
faced
and
yesterday.
check once?
It
will work or
exception
not?
I faced yesterday. This might be related to your jar added Jasper jar. You can
Yes,
change
yes,
the
that's
Jasper
why
jar
I am telling
and
that.
refresh
Could
that.
you please? That's why I am telling that. Could you anyone please add that JSTL tag? It will work.
Open your console. Open your console.
Yesterday night only I faced this issue and I resolved that by updating that.
See the port number first.
Version number is mentioned in the pom.xml.
Either in the property file name is mention is wrong,
Scroll
or
up, scroll
in
up,
the
scroll
Jasper
up.
file.
Version number in pom.xml.
Scroll up.
Can you check package naming conventions?
Scroll it up, no?
Pom.xml version number. Hello.
Pom.xml file.
Yeah, pom.xml file. Version number is mentioned there.
So component scan.
Why component scan is taken separately? The base class is
Remove component scan. There is no need of
not
component
required.
scan. At that Spring Boot application only will take care of it.
No, facing problem that time I taken, but that
Okay, no
not
problem.
resolved.
Just remove it.
No,
And
it's
see the
correct
port
only.
number.
Add
See
the
the first.
component scan.
See the port number first of all. What the port number there?
9090.
In the console. Just,
I think servlet initializer not there in base package.
9090. Okay.
No, that servlet initializer comes if you select war file, then it will comes. If you select jar, then
Open
it
your
will not pop up.
pom.xml. Pom.xml, not that. Open pom.xml.
Last, come down, come down.
Stop the server and open pom.xml, please. Yeah, remove that version
Remove
from
version. Remove version, it will
there.
work.
Remove version. Yeah. Control S. Do Alt F5 and update my friend. Do Alt F5. Update, click on update, force update, and OK. Now open your controller. Open controller. Yeah. Get mappings there.
Oh, can we add one property in application properties? If we will check what the logs is saying. Logging
slash views slash
dot level dot root
090.
equal to debug.
Okay, now run it once again. Just do control F11. That's not needed. It's not the problem of string or response body.
Now hit the URL.
Now it's working. It was the problem of your that
Version.
you have added component scan at that time. No, that was the problem, and it might be a problem of your version.
Yes.
Everything was correct.
When I add before adding the scan component, there will be also a problem.
Okay, it was the problem of your version. It
So
was
if
not.
version is there, you can add JSTL tag also. It will
No,
work.
no, JSTL tag is not needed, bro.
JSTL no necessary. JSTL no, sir. This is sure
needed.
embedded as per version only.
Yes.
It was a
JSTL not
Jasper version
needed.
problem. It's okay now.
Yeah, what was that issue? Can you please tell me one more time, please?
What?
Yeah, what was the issue?
It was the
Embedded
problem of
Jasper embedded
version.
version.
She has added embedded
Version
Jasper.
only.
No. So just remove the version. Everything will taken care by the Spring Boot only.
Yes.
That the
Because
project.
Spring Boot internally handle the dependency version actually.
Yeah, parent project will take care of version.
Exactly.
Okay.
काल संडे हो तो गेल नहीं जाकर कल संडे से दिखा
Yeah, thanks.
बसला थोड़ा सा नाही रे कशाच कर